Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a seriously fascinating deep dive of Amy Brown's book, Dark Psychology, Secrets and Manipulation. Together, we're going to decode the hidden, incredibly subtle tactics of the human mind. Because look, this isn't just about understanding how people think. It's really about uncovering those invisible strategies that cunning individuals use to pull the strings right behind the scenes. So, let's get into it and see exactly how these secrets actually work.
I want you to take just a second and really think about this. Have you ever been in a situation where you inexplicably agreed to something you didn't even want to do? Or maybe you found yourself in the middle of an argument and suddenly you felt completely helpless and confused, almost like your own thoughts were being hijacked? Well, if you've ever felt like someone was secretly influencing your decisions from the shadows, there's a very good chance you were caught in the web of dark psychology, probably without even realizing it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Today we're looking at the invisible trap of dark psychology, the dangerous weapons of manipulation, persuasion versus manipulation, and finally, how to build your mental shield. Think of this as our threat and shield framework that we'll be using to decode all these psychological secrets.
Section 1. The invisible trap of dark psychology. Because true manipulation, it's rarely obvious. It's a silent war being waged right under our noses. The absolute most dangerous thing about this kind of manipulation is how invisible it is. The source material actually describes this as a silent war. And in this war, nobody's using physical weapons. Instead, words, emotions, and your own mind are the ammunition. People who have mastered dark psychology, and we're talking anyone from high-level politicians down to just a selfish person in your everyday life, they literally hack into human psychology. They figure out your exact vulnerabilities and then use them to control you, leaving you completely unaware that you're trapped in a game where they make all the rules.
And please, do not think this is just some wild concept reserved for Hollywood thrillers. It's happening right now, every single day, in our totally normal environments. It's hiding in toxic office politics where that one coworker is subtly undermining you. It thrives in personal relationships and family dynamics where boundaries get a little blurry. It's even engineered right into how we interact on social media. This is exactly why you need to stay alert. The threat isn't far away. It's local, it's everyday, and it is highly disguised. Which brings us to Section 2, the dangerous weapons of manipulation. Consider this your warning, because we are about to expose the exact tactics master manipulators use. The first weapon in their arsenal is emotional mirroring. You know when you meet someone and you just instantly feel like you've known them for years? Well, while that can sometimes be genuine, dark psychologists use this completely intentionally. They subtly copy your body language, your tone of voice, even your emotional state. By doing this, they're effectively hacking your subconscious mind. Your brain flags them as familiar and safe, which builds this powerful but entirely false trust. Before you even realize what's happening, your guard is completely down.
Next up is one of the most severe and damaging tactics out there, gaslighting. Now, this isn't just about someone telling a lie. It's about them gradually and methodically distorting your entire perception of reality. A manipulator will twist the facts so consistently that you actually begin to doubt your own memories, your own thoughts, and eventually your own sanity. The end goal here is terrifyingly simple: to make you completely dependent on their version of reality, basically erasing your independence entirely. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how mundane these words seem at first glance. You're misunderstanding things. Your memory is deceiving you. I mean, these are everyday phrases, right? But in the hands of a dark psychologist, they are fully weaponized. When they repeat this over time, these simple sentences just chip away at your self-confidence. It forces you to question your own mind and keeps you perfectly off balance.
Then we have guilt tripping. Look, as humans, we naturally desire approval, don't we? We're terrified of disappointing the people we care about. Well, manipulators know this, and they exploit it flawlessly. They'll engineer a situation or a conversation to create this heavy, suffocating sense of guilt or obligation inside you. By making you feel like a terrible person just for setting a normal boundary, they essentially force you into doing whatever they want. Let's look at a highly relatable example straight from the text. If you don't help me, it shows you don't care about me. Notice exactly what's happening here. They aren't just asking you for a favor, they're attacking your core character and holding the relationship hostage. This is textbook emotional exploitation. They are forcing you to prove your loyalty by submitting to their demands. Another deeply insidious tactic is the isolation technique. A smart manipulator knows that if you have a strong support system, you're a threat to their control. So what do? They subtly begin to cut you off from the rest of the pack.
They'll plant these tiny seeds of doubt about your friends and your family, convincing you that literally no one else understands you or has your best interests at heart. Eventually, you look around and you're left completely isolated, relying solely on them.
And of course, we have to talk about fear-based control. Human beings are biologically wired to avoid fear. Dark psychology preys directly on this vulnerability by deliberately triggering your absolute deepest anxieties, whether that's a fear of financial ruin, social rejection, or having an emotional breakdown. It's actually the exact same psychological trigger marketers use when they create false scarcity, those limited time offers. They manufacture panic so you act impulsively and just submit to what they want.
Section 3, Persuasion versus Manipulation. Because we need to be clear here, not all influence is dark.
So is trying to influence someone inherently evil? Absolutely not. There is a very clear dividing line here, and this brilliantly illustrates the difference. Persuasion is an ethical skill. It relies on a really healthy balance of logic and emotion to gently guide someone toward a mutual agreement. Manipulation, on the flip side, is totally unethical. It throws logic out the window and violently plays with your emotions to force control over you. One is about alignment, the other is strictly about domination. To summarize this contrast as simply as possible, persuasion offers you a choice. Manipulation removes it. Think about it. A great leader, a fantastic speaker, or an ethical salesperson, they use persuasion to present a vision that you freely, happily agree to join. A dark psychologist uses manipulation to back you into a psychological corner where you feel like you have absolutely no choice but to comply.
Which brings us to Section 4, How to Build Your Mental Shield. It is time to shift our focus from the threat to the actionable solution.
Building your mental shield requires this very specific 4-step progression. First up, self-awareness. You have to know your own insecurities and fears, because if you know them, others can't exploit them against you. Second, emotional boundaries. This means knowing when to conserve your energy and draw a hard line. Third, critical thinking. This is your ability to pause and analyze a request purely based on logic, completely stripping away the emotional trap. And fourth, assertiveness. That's confidently holding your ground without having to resort to aggression. Honestly, if you only take away one single thing from this explainer, let it be this. Manipulators prey on people who are desperately seeking approval and emotional validation. They actively look for that hunger. But by building your own self-respect, recognizing your own self-worth, and validating yourself, you literally strip a manipulator of their primary weapon. Your self-worth isn't just nice to have. It's your ultimate, impenetrable armor.
So the crucial point is how we actually apply this right now. Here are some hard-hitting actions you can take today to protect your mental health. Number 1, learn to confidently say no without over-explaining yourself. Start analyzing requests logically. Ask yourself, is this factually fair, rather than how is this making me feel? Actively distance yourself from toxic people. Yes, even if they happen to be close to you. And most importantly, completely discard the victim mindset. You are the one in control of your mind.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question based on Amy Brown's powerful insights today. Now that you know where the invisible traps are, you know the weapons of control, and you have the blueprints for your defense, will you remain a puppet whose strings are constantly pulled by the whims of others, or are you ready to take back control, build your mental shield, and step confidently into your own power? The choice is entirely up to you. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep your shield up.